Welcome to English Ascent Daily. I'm happy you are here. Think about one thing you can do well now. Maybe you can cook, drive, type, or speak in front of people. It may feel easy now, but it was not always easy. At first, most things feel hard. You make mistakes, you forget steps, you feel slow. Sometimes you even want to quit. But when you keep practicing, things start to change. Little by little, you get better. Practice is not only for English, it helps in almost every part of life. A basketball player practices the same shot many times. A cook makes the same dish again and again. A new worker repeats a task until it feels normal. This is how skills grow. The same is true for English. You may know many words, but speaking needs practice. You may know grammar, but using it quickly also needs practice. You do not become better in one day. You become better by doing small things many times. That is the real power of practice. Many people think practice is only for beginners. That is not true. Experts practice too. In fact, they often practice more. A good doctor keeps learning. A good teacher keeps improving. A good athlete keeps training. Skill does not remove the need for practice. Practice is how we turn knowledge into action. You can read about swimming for 10 years, but at some point, you must get in the water. You can learn every rule of basketball, but you still need to hold the ball and shoot. Knowing is useful. Doing is what builds skill. This is why practice can feel uncomfortable. When you practice, you see your weak points. You notice what you cannot do yet. That can hurt your confidence, but it can also help you grow. A mistake gives you information. It shows you what needs more work. Some people stop because they make mistakes. They think, maybe I am not good at this, but a mistake is not always a bad sign. Sometimes it is a sign that you are trying something new. If everything is always easy, you may not be learning much. Think about a child learning to ride a bike. The child does not ride perfectly on the first day. The bike moves left and right. The child puts a foot down. Maybe there is a small fall. Then the child tries again. Slowly, balance gets better. The child does not sit on the sidewalk and say, I made 3 mistakes. Cycling is clearly not for me. Children often understand practice better than adults. They try again. They adjust. They keep going. As adults, we sometimes expect too much from ourselves. We want fast results. We want to feel good from the first day. We want to look confident while learning. But learning is often messy. There can be slow days. There can be bad days. That is normal. Your brain also needs repetition. When you repeat a useful action, the brain becomes more familiar with it. The action can start to feel easier. You need less effort to remember each step. This is one reason regular practice can make a skill feel natural. But repetition does not mean doing something carelessly. Good practice has attention. You notice what you are doing. You try to correct small problems. You repeat the better version. That is very different from doing the same mistake 100 times. Imagine you are learning to make pancakes. The first batch is too thick. The second batch burns. The third one looks like a map of Texas. But each time, you learn something. Less heat, better timing, better amount of batter. Soon, breakfast looks normal again. This is a simple example, but the idea is important. Practice works best when you learn from each try. You do something. You notice the result. You make a small change. Then, you try again. This can be used at work too. Maybe you are new at giving presentations. Your first presentation is not smooth. You speak too fast. You forget one point. You look at the screen too much. Afterward, you think about what happened. Next time, you slow down. You use fewer notes. You practice the opening before the meeting. The second presentation feels better, not perfect, just better. That is enough. This is very clear in English. A learner may understand a simple sentence, but speaking that sentence can still feel hard. The mouth is not used to the words. The brain is searching. The learner may pause too much, so the learner needs practice. Not perfect practice, real practice. Say simple sentences. Repeat useful patterns. Answer common questions. Speak about daily life. Talk about your plans, your work, your family, your meals, or your weekend. For example, practice a simple pattern like, you can say, I usually wake up at 7. I usually drink coffee in the morning. I usually drive to work. One pattern can create many useful sentences. Then try another pattern. I need to, I need to call my brother. I need to buy groceries. I need to finish this report. These are simple sentences, but they train real speaking. You do not need 10 difficult words in every sentence. Clear English is powerful. Simple English is useful. If you can say simple things quickly and clearly, you are already building a strong base. This is why small daily practice can be powerful. You do not always need a huge study session. 10 focused minutes can be useful. 15 minutes can be useful. The key is to use the time well. The same is true outside language learning. If you want to get better at cooking, cook. If you want to get better at drawing, draw. If you want to speak better in meetings, practice speaking in meetings. Skills grow through use. Of course, rest matters too. Practice does not mean pushing yourself every minute. Your brain and body need breaks. A tired mind does not always learn well. Good practice has effort, but it also has recovery. Think about exercise. If you train hard every single hour, your body will not thank you. It may send you a very clear complaint. Practice needs balance. Another important part of practice is consistency. One very long session can feel productive, but then you may stop for 3 weeks. A smaller routine may work better because you can repeat it. Imagine 2 people learning to type faster. One person practices for 3 hours on Sunday and does nothing for the rest of the week. The other practices for 20 minutes on 5 days. The second person may build a more stable habit. Regular practice keeps the skill fresh. It also makes starting easier. You do not need to fight with yourself every time. Practice becomes part of your normal routine. A routine can be very simple. You can connect practice to something you already do. After breakfast, practice for 10 minutes. Before work, review 3 useful sentences. After dinner, write a short paragraph. This is called making the habit easy to remember. You are giving practice a place in your day. It is no longer something you might do later. Later is a dangerous word. Later can become tomorrow. Tomorrow can become next Monday. Next Monday can become next month. Then, suddenly, the year is almost over. So make practice small enough to start. A 5-minute start is better than a perfect plan that never begins. You also need clear goals. I want to get better is too broad. Better at what? Speaking, writing, pronunciation, public speaking, cooking, running? A clear goal helps you choose the right practice. For English, a clear goal can be, I want to answer common questions without long pauses. Good. Now you know what to practice. Ask yourself simple questions and answer them aloud. What did you do yesterday? What do you usually do after work? What are you doing this weekend? These questions are common. Practice short, natural answers. Practice should also be challenging enough. If something is too easy, you may not improve much. If it is too hard, you may feel lost. The best practice is often just a little above your current level. For example, if you can speak 1 sentence easily, try 2. If you can speak for 30 seconds, try 1 minute. If you know 10 useful words, Use them in a short story. This keeps practice interesting. You feel some challenge, but you can still succeed. You may also have days when practice feels worse. This can be confusing. Yesterday, you spoke well. Today, you forget easy words. You think, what happened to me? Probably nothing serious happened. Performance changes from day to day. Sleep, stress, attention, and energy can affect you. One bad practice session does not erase your progress. Do not judge your whole journey by one bad day. Look at the bigger picture. Maybe last month you could speak for 20 seconds. Now you can speak for 1 minute. Maybe you still make mistakes, but you recover faster. That is progress. Progress is not always dramatic. Sometimes it is very quiet. You notice less fear. You understand faster. You need fewer pauses. You remember a word without translating it first. These small changes matter. Practice teaches patience. This may be one of its biggest lessons. You start to understand that growth takes time. A farmer does not plant seeds in the morning and check for tomatoes at lunch. Some things need time. Skills are like that too. You practice, you rest, you practice again. The result slowly appears. This patience can help in many parts of life. It can help with fitness, work, communication, money habits, and personal goals. You begin to trust steady effort, and steady effort is often stronger than sudden motivation. Motivation is nice. It can help you start. But motivation changes. Some mornings you feel ready to do everything. Other mornings, even your coffee looks more motivated than you. That is where routine helps. You do not need to feel excited every day. You just need to do the next small step. For English, that step may be speaking for 5 minutes. For fitness, it may be a short walk. For writing, it may be one paragraph. For work, it may be practicing one new skill. Small steps are easier to repeat. Repeated steps become habits. Habits create results. There is also a difference between practice and pressure. Practice says, I am learning. Pressure says, I must be perfect right now. These are not the same feeling. Too much pressure can make you afraid to try. You become careful in the wrong way. You stop speaking because you do not want a grammar mistake. You stop trying because you do not want to look bad. But practice gives you permission to be a learner. If you say, yesterday I go to the store, and then you notice the mistake, good. Correct it. Yesterday I went to the store. Say the correct sentence again. You do not need to make a big emotional event out of one verb. Correct, repeat, continue. That simple process can help you improve faster than feeling embarrassed for 10 minutes. You should also use what you already know. Many learners keep searching for new material, new words, new rules, new tips, but old knowledge needs practice too. You may already know enough English to have many basic conversations. The problem may not be knowledge. The problem may be speed and confidence. Use familiar words in new ways. Make new sentences. Tell a short story. Explain your day. Give your opinion. For example, take the word busy. Say, I was busy this morning. The store was busy. My week is busy. I'm too busy to cook tonight. One simple word can do a lot of work. This is how practice makes language flexible. And when you practice regularly, you may notice something interesting. You stop thinking about every small step. A new driver thinks about mirrors, pedals, signals, speed, and traffic. An experienced driver handles many of these things almost automatically. Language can become more automatic too. At first, you build every sentence slowly. Later, common patterns come faster. You hear, "How was your weekend?" and your answer starts without a long search. It was good. I visited my sister on Saturday. That speed comes from use. Automatic skill saves mental energy. Then you can focus more on meaning. You can think about what you want to say, not only how to build the sentence. This is a big goal of practice, but remember, automatic does not mean perfect. Even skilled people make mistakes. Native speakers make mistakes. Athletes miss shots. Chefs burn food. Experienced workers forget things. Being good does not mean never making mistakes. It means you can recover and continue. That is a much healthier goal. You should also expect boring moments. Practice is not always exciting. Sometimes you repeat the same thing. Sometimes progress feels slow. That does not mean the practice is useless. A basketball player may take the same shot again and again. A pianist may practice the same short section. A person learning English may repeat the same sentence pattern. Repetition can look simple, but simple work can build strong skill. The key is to stay awake mentally. Notice your form. Notice your errors. Notice small improvement. You can make practice less boring by changing the task, not the goal. If your goal is speaking, one day answer questions. Another day describe a picture. Another day tell a short story about your morning. The skill is the same. The activity changes. For general life skills, you can do the same. If you want to cook better, practice different dishes that use the same basic technique. If you want to speak better at work, practice updates, questions, and short presentations. Variety can keep your mind interested while repetition builds the skill. For English learners, I suggest keeping your practice very practical. Use English for things you may really say. Practice introducing yourself. Practice asking for help. Practice talking about your day. Practice giving simple opinions. Say, I think this is a good idea. I don't agree with that. I'm not sure yet. Can you explain that again? These phrases can be used in many situations, then build around them. I think this is a good idea because it saves time. And I'm not sure yet because I need more information. Simple sentences can grow into better communication. You do not need to rush. Accuracy and speed can grow together over time. If you speak too fast before you are ready, your words may become unclear. Slow down. Speak clearly, then build speed naturally. The same rule works in many skills. First, learn the movement, then make it faster. A new basketball player should learn good form before trying to shoot as fast as possible. A new typist should learn correct keys before racing. Quality first. Speed later. You also do not need to practice everything every day. Rotate your focus. Monday can be speaking. Tuesday can be writing. Wednesday can be pronunciation. Thursday can be speaking again. Or keep it even simpler. Choose one main skill for a whole week. There are many ways to organize practice. What matters is that you keep doing it. And remember why you started. Maybe you want better English for work. Maybe you want to speak with customers. Maybe you want to travel with more confidence. Maybe you just want to express yourself clearly. Your reason gives practice meaning. When practice feels boring, the reason can help you continue. The same is true for any goal. If you want to get stronger, remember why. If you want to save money, remember why. If you want to learn a skill, remember why. A strong reason does not make every day easy, but it can make the effort feel worth it. You may not become the best in the world. That is okay. But you could become much better than you are now. 15 minutes looks small, but repeated many times, it becomes a lot of focused effort. This is the power of practice. It takes small actions and gives them time to grow. The first day may not look special. The fifth day may not look special. But after weeks and months, the difference can surprise you. People often notice the result. They do not see all the small practice behind it. They see someone speaking English with confidence. They do not see the hundreds of simple sentences that person practiced. They see someone giving a great presentation. They do not see the quiet practice at home. They see the final skill. Practice happens before the applause. So do not worry if your work feels invisible right now. Invisible work can still create visible results. You are building something. Each time you practice, you make the next try a little easier. Each time you correct a mistake, you learn. Each time you continue after a bad day, you build discipline. And each time you use a skill in real life, it becomes more natural. You do not need to wait for the perfect mood. You do not need to wait for Monday. You do not need a new month or a new year. Start with what you have. Choose one small action, do it today, then do it again tomorrow. That is how practice becomes progress. And if you are learning English with English Ascent Daily, keep your practice simple. Speak clearly. Use the words you know. Build short sentences. Repeat useful patterns. Do not be afraid of mistakes. Your English does not need to be perfect to be useful. It needs to be used. The more you use it, the more comfortable it can become. The same lesson is true for many parts of life. Practice may not always feel exciting. It may not always feel fast, but it gives you something very valuable. It gives you another chance to improve. Again and again. Small effort, small correction, small progress. Then one day, the thing that once felt difficult starts to feel normal. And that is when you realize something important. Practice was working, even when you could not see it. Thank you for spending this time with me on English Ascent Daily. Keep learning, keep practicing, keep moving forward. You do not need to be perfect today. Just be a little better than yesterday.